Today's episode of The Mom Game is brought to you by our friends at Gateway Buick GMC at LBJ and Jupiter. I know that buying a car can be stressful, but not at Gateway, because their slogan is, Gateway's got it. And just what does that mean? Well, it means Gateway's got a wide selection of new Buicks, GMCs, and GM-certified used vehicles, all competitively priced. Gateway's got it. In these busy times, you want a car dealer who makes things easy and convenient. Well, guess what? Gateway's got it. When you log on to gatewaybuickgmc.com, look for the Shop, Click, Drive button. This allows you to shop from the comfort of your home, and who doesn't want that? In fact, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. 3, schedule your delivery. And on top of all this, Gateway Buick GMC offers complimentary car washes for life. So when you want a dealer who has it all, Gateway's got it. You can find them online at gatewaybuickgmc.com or shop in person at LBJ and Jupiter. GMC, we are professional grade. Experience the new Buick. Episode 144 of The Mom Game. Y'all, Christmas came early because look who is in our studio. It's Dirk!
Hello. Hi.
We did it.
Yeah.
We did it. Dirk,
you guys pulled it off.
Seriously, on our first episode, our very first episode, we put out like a pitch, not even a pitch, but like, dream guest, Dirk Nowitzki. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what are the chances that Dirk's listening right now? And we were like, slim to negative slim. Like, there's no way. But I was like, maybe it could happen. He's the perfect guest. Like, he's an athlete in retirement, dadding so hard now. Like, he would be such a great guest. Mm-hmm. And I have been whipping your ass for 2.5 years.
For a while.
And here we are.
Yes.
And you were like, I can do a Zoom. And I'm like, no. I don't want to Zoom.
Come straight to the studio.
I want you here.
This worked great. Thank you for having me. I was mentioning earlier, I'm not huge on podcasts, so that's why I've probably been pushing this off way longer. I promised you at the beginning I will do it. So I'm glad finally I held true to my promise. So here we are at the Mom Game.
Yeah, and I knew if I beat you down long enough, eventually you would relinquish.
I'll cave.
What is it about podcasts? Like, is it just maybe not knowing what to expect, or people
a little bit of everything,
weird questions?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. It's a lot of time to fill, and it's a long conversation. It's not like a normal interview where you have a couple minutes hit and. Yeah. So, but it's nice. You can go in a little more in depth, obviously. But I don't love the medium. I do more like if I go somewhere or drive somewhere, I do more audiobooks.
That makes sense.
I don't do a lot of podcasts, but
yeah. Well,
I've
your whole career.
I've done a few, so here we are.
Podcast really started, I guess, getting big after your playing career. So that makes sense. Where it's like I'm just used to doing things a certain way, and that's what I want to do. Well, we're so
the athletes and their routines, right? It's tough to get them out. It's tough to get them out.
We sure do.
Well, and when you were playing, you were always very late to the locker room. I mean, like
Emily's like, how do I say this?
When I covered the Mavericks during that time, and sometimes I did, in-game stuff. So I would do post-game interviews with you. And if I knew if I didn't get you immediately after, that it wasn't going to happen, and if I wanted to get home before midnight. So you do.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. But the thing is, I will say this
very
though.
hard.
Yeah,
I mean, a break.
Well, and you have your routines, right? And everyone does as an athlete. You have your routine. And it made you very successful, and you competed at a very, very high level. So I can't imagine interviews with me were necessarily high on that priority list. But now that you're done with being an athlete, have you loosened up on that routine, or have you imposed all of this on your poor family?
No, it's not that bad. I try to be really relaxed. Off the floor, I was always pretty chilled and laid back. It's just on the court, sometimes I was a little fiery. But off the court, I was super chill. But, it took me always so long because I did all sorts of stuff. I did stretching. I did rehab. I did the cold tub. Sometimes I went in the cold tub again or stretched again. So I was always the last. And even teammates over the years have gotten on me on the road. Like we were there, the 2 buses had to wait. And so that was a little bit of annoyance to my teammates, but which is part of my my rehab and getting ready for the next day. So I apologize to the media.
I don't apologize. I just like giving you shit, though.
It sometimes was a little long.
You just have to look at it like what's your number one job? To play basketball at a high level. And all of those things, it sounds like, were important to that and important to your success, the team's success. It was a whole routine. So I think everybody's cool with it.
Okay,
Don't worry.
No worries.
But talking about that transition away from the game and the structure that you had been so used to for so long, and then all of a sudden not playing, how has that gone for you? Did it seem abrupt? I know there was some back and forth about, is this the right time? How has the transition gone for you after playing?
I got to say, I adjusted really well. I was a little worried. I talked to some other athletes that had retired, and so I wanted to know what their thoughts were and if I have to do something special to get ready. And so I talked to Steve, I talked to Mike a lot over the years, but I just got to say I was ready for it. You know, the last 2 years were tough. I had a surgery on my ankle, and so the last season I actually missed 30 games.
Yeah.
I was struggling with my ankle. I couldn't move much. My last 3-4 months, I don't think I even practiced anymore. I just sat there and watched and got ready for games. And so it took a little bit of the fun away that I was having to compete at the highest level. And so the decision then was pretty easy. My body made that decision for me. I think mentally I could have probably played another year. But I was ready. I was ready to travel. I was ready to try new things, see the world, eat, drink whatever I wanted at whatever time I wanted, and it was pretty regimented. I had my routine. I had to be disciplined in the summers, even when we did travel. Had to find gyms and eat healthy and all that stuff. So I was looking forward to life after 21 years was plenty. And it's been over 3 years now in retirement, and it's been a blur. It's been super fun. I'm trying all sorts of things. We do travel a lot with our children, so it's been a lot of fun.
So we're going to be all over the place in this interview, which is kind of our MO, is all over the place. But I do want to talk about little baby 9-pound, 8-ounce baby Dirk when he was growing up and in Germany, Wurzburg, Germany, and you're a kid and you're starting to play basketball. I mean, where did your dreams go when you were in Wurzburg? Did they ever go here?
Well, not to Dallas, Texas, but I was definitely
this podcast
huge
to the ball game.
Was definitely a huge NBA fan there. Yeah. I started off playing tennis and handball, and I didn't start basketball until I was a little older, about 12, 13, and then I was all in though. Once I got hooked with the sport, I'd got up in the middle of the night, watched the finals, watched the All-Star game, and I was all in. There was a time where I knew every player on every roster. That's how deep I was into it. And it was always a dream, but I never really thought that one day I can actually play in this league. It was such a huge leap from Germany. Basically, I played second division there to the NBA. And it wasn't then until I met really Holger when I was about 15, 16, then we really started to work towards goals and getting better. And then, when I was 16, 17, then I was seeing, hey, maybe this could go somewhere, or at least play professional somewhere in Europe, or go to college and get a scholarship. So these things were all floating around, but I wasn't really sure what my ceiling was or where this is going to end up. And so I would say there from the age 18, 19, 20, everything went so fast, just working hard. You still go to finish in high school. Then, I went to the Army for 10 months, which was mandatory at the time. And that was a blast. I was traveling and I was working out with Holger every day, and so just a lot of things came at me at a young age, and then I came over when I was 20. So
Holger is such a interesting,
unique character for sure. We could dive into that for
Holger,
hours.
And whenever I would be around Holger, because he's so quiet, he is so to himself. I think he I don't know if he ever spoke to me. He just grunted and stuff. But I would go out of my way to be super cheery and smiley and hey, Holger, and he'd be like, and he would be wearing that, I don't know if it was actually members only, but it looked like a members only jacket. And he was just this figure that was just kind of always around, but it was very clear how important he was to you, not only professionally, but personally. How did that relationship start? Because I feel like it's such a huge part of your story.
It was. So he was a good player back in the day. He was a 72 Olympic captain for the German team in Munich in the Olympics. And so he had a basketball background, of course, and then he was still playing deep into his 40s, and he was just traveling with this older team playing. And allegedly, the story is, which I really don't remember that much, but he's kept a journal since the last 40 years, so I'm sure he can recollect things a little better than I can. But he always tells a story that they had a game in some gym outside of my hometown, somewhere on the road. I played, and he had a game after me with his older team, and he saw me running around there, not really knowing what to do, but I had some good instincts and some decent skill level, and I could move for a tall guy. And so he came up to me after and said, "Who's practicing with you?" And I was like, "Nobody, just here on the team every couple times a week." And then he's like, "I'd love to work with you." And he had never done anything like this at the beginning. And I didn't really know who it was. Obviously, I didn't watch the 72 Olympics. That was way before my time. So brought that back to my parents. My mom knew who he was because my mom was a basketball player. And so kind of left it alone for a couple of months. And for the next season, sure enough, there shows this old guy up in the gym and with his same coat that he probably still has. and he was part of our team. And he started coaching the team a little bit. And just, he was weird. I mean, he had awkward techniques that he was teaching. The way he taught was weird. The stuff he was saying was different than anything that we've ever heard. But I saw an improvement immediately. We started like maybe once a week, twice a week. He'd come to our practice in the evenings, and he would always take one guy to the corner. They'd do some individual stuff, and then he'll rotate. He'd work with somebody else. The other guy goes back to the team practice. And so we did that for the first couple of years, and everybody just started shooting the ball better. And we really got along great. And so we decided to keep this going and go all in, basically, once I finished high school. And I mean, the guy taught me everything I know on and off the floor. And he was a mentor. He was a father figure at times. He helped me through tough times in my career. He was always there for me. So, there's really, I always say it all the time, I'm not sure where basketball would have taken me if I wouldn't have met him, if I would have ever made it to the NBA. I have no idea. So I do owe him a lot. But he is quirky. I mean, in a way, he's a genius. He's a genius. His ideas, not only about basketball. I mean, he knows the world inside out. He knows economy. He knows everything about everything. But geniuses at times are a little off. And, socially at times he's got some issues. If you catch him on the right day, though, and he had a few red wine, some Italian red wine he loves, he can tell stories for days. But if you catch him on a bad day, then he might just grunt. So it's kind of up in the air.
Sounds kind of like me, actually. No,
I've never heard you grunt.
I'm very capable.
But you heard her on red wine.
She still talks. She talks more with her red wine. And what's that relationship like now? Do you guys still talk all the time?
Yeah, less. I mean, obviously now I'm old. I have my own, family, and obviously my basketball career is over with. So I see him every time I go to Germany, which is actually now it's more often. I go to Germany I still have sponsors, some UNICEF and badge, still have my charities over there. So I go every 4 to 6 weeks. I see him.
Wow.
Yeah, I go way more now than I used to.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I enjoy it. My parents are still alive there. I see Holger, I see my sister, and so I go all the time to Europe now, and I enjoy it. And I see him, and we talk about the old days and all sorts of stuff. So he still helps me a little bit on some of the business stuff and decisions in Germany. So he will always be part of the team and part of the crew. It's actually, believe it or not, it's his birthday today.
Oh, December 9th.
December 9th.
How old is he?
77.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
Well, happy birthday, Holger.
Happy birthday, Hodge. Hope you. He sent me a picture earlier celebrating. I've been running around all day, and then I was like, now that you mentioned it, I'm like, of course they're drinking because it's his birthday. I didn't even wish him happy birthday yet.
I'm gonna drink a glass for Holger.
Yes,
or
me
a bottle.
too. Me too. Yeah,
Either
me
one.
too.
Yeah. You mentioned about kind of at this point in your life, like you're 3 years removed from playing, like you said, I mean, are you able to kind of like put all this shit in perspective? Like you said, this kid from Wurzburg didn't even know if he would be here. Then you meet Holger, and then you don't know, where that path would have taken you had you not met him. And now you got a fucking street named after you, and you're getting a statue.
Emily's going to cuss on this podcast.
Yeah, I see that.
Sorry.
I see that. Okay, anything goes.
It can be shocking.
Okay.
And a statue. Like,
Yeah,
you're
anything
getting
goes.
a statue. Like, it's a little out of hand.
It's
I
wild.
mean, and it's not, and not to say, and this one's going to come out bad, but like, it's not like you were some local kid made good. I mean, you're effing from Wurzburg, Germany, and now it's like you're the most beloved dude in this whole damn place.
You really are.
Like, what's happening?
I feel like it's undisputed.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I don't know who else would challenge you for that title.
It's been a wild ride. Like I mentioned, I didn't know what to expect when I got here in my 20s. I didn't know what to expect
Can we
from
right fast
Dallas.
talk about that haircut and the earring?
Which ones? I mean, I tried all sorts of haircuts.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Who was advising? Was that Holger? Who was advising you on
I'm
that?
not sure. I think at the time it was the Backstreet Boys time. I tried to be like Nick Carter. At the
It
part
worked
down
for
the
them,
middle. At the
yeah.
part down the middle.
Yeah, and then like the hoop. Was it
The
a hoop or a cross?
No, it
Or
was
both?
a hoop. Yeah,
Okay.
and I even had a pinky ring. I mean, I was doing it back then. I was doing it. Just insecure, trying to find yourself, I guess, at a young age. But yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought maybe people are still riding around on their, on horses here. I literally back then we barely had the internet. We didn't have social media, of course, and all I've seen a little bit was the TV show Dallas. My parents watched every now and then, and so that's all I saw. And so I had no idea what I walked in. And then when they flew me over here, I was like, wow, this is way bigger. This is a huge city. So unlike anything I've ever expected. But it's been an amazing journey. I mean, through ups and downs, I felt like the fans and the city was always super loyal to me, and I always tell the story. My first year when I sometimes didn't play and I got subbed in, I got a standing ovation. It's almost I felt like people here wanted me to succeed. They saw something in me. I don't know if it was a skill level or they liked the shy German kid coming over and they wanted me to do something. And so I felt always the love of the city and the support, and always wanted to be loyal back. So it's been a fun journey, and but I agree with you, it's a lot. And like Steve said in the video of my jersey time, he's like, street, statue, joy, what else? I mean, at some point it's got to be over with, and I think this is going to be the last thing. But it will be amazing on Christmas Day. I'm looking forward to it. My family's coming in town. And it's going to be an amazing ceremony.
Oh, gosh. No, I mean, people just were drawn to you for so many different reasons. And then, of course, you were able to bring Dallas a title. So many questions about that. But I guess, what did that feel like to finally bring Dallas a title, to see so many people going absolutely insane for what you were able to do for this city? Something that people maybe never thought possible. This team has been through it, had a history of not being even, before you were there, obviously, they'd been through some really tough times. To bring that title to the city of Dallas, and it's still something that I think people talk about daily here. What was that like, that moment and that night?
Yeah, I mean, I would say super emotional. I would say super prideful. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we ever bring one here either, especially after the disappointment in 06. Then we were the best team in 07, losing the first round. Then we didn't get back to that stage for a couple of years. So those couple of years were really tough, because in my eyes, I'm like, I'm in my prime. We need to go to the finals every year, and we just couldn't get back there anymore. So there were some super frustrating years there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if we ever get back to that stage. And then couple moves, obviously, to move with Washington to bring in Butler and Haywood, and that move, and then bring in Tyson Chandler the championship year. And just that was a magical year. We just had great chemistry. We had older guys that wanted to win with each other, and I mean, what a ride, what a season that was.
Yeah.
It was super cool. And then, yeah, I think once we won it, it's like, all these emotions go through your mind, and all the people that helped you, and how you got to that point. And so I shed a few tears in the back once we won it. And
Yeah, because you lost it and had to
ran
had to
off the
excuse
court.
I
yourself.
sprinted out. I sprinted out for a couple of minutes. I just knew I was going to get a little emotional, and I wanted to be by myself for a few minutes. And
Oh my gosh!
It was just a great moment, just joy and pride, and that we've done that, and so that was a cool time.
And then a bond, I'm sure, like no other with that group.
I still talk. I still talk to the guys all the time. I saw Mahinmi this summer, and every time you see somebody, I love Jan. He's actually involved now with the ball, with the African League there. The NBA is helping to support, and so I saw him this summer at a deal for that league. I mean, it's every time you see each other, you say, "What up, champ?" And it's like, you haven't stopped talking to each other.
It just probably brings you back to that moment.
Yeah, for sure. Then that was actually sweet. Most of the guys came from my jersey retirement. I saw Pedro, who I hadn't seen in a while, and some of the other guys, obviously.
They just kept popping up that night.
Yeah,
like,
it was cool. Cardinal
oh my
came,
gosh! Oh, the janitor.
So we had a great
custodian.
time. Those couple
Yeah.
Custodian. Yeah, we had a great time. So that was really sweet.
I mean, and that was one of the most ridiculous jersey retirement. I mean, why is everything's like so off the charts?
Well, it's because
it's awesome. I mean, it's great.
Go big or go home, right?
Oh my gosh! Like when you
so
saw
cool.
those fools on the court, like that had to just like floor you. Did you have any idea whatsoever?
You're talking about my last game.
Oh yeah, not the jersey retirement. Yeah, I'm talking about the last game. Sorry. With Barkley and
that was a Pippen came.
Yes.
Sean Kemp, Schrempf, and Larry Bird came.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So that was actually, I had no idea this was happening. So of course I was focused on the game, and I had a bunch of tickets before. My family was here, so I checked my phone one last time to make sure everybody is in, everybody got the tickets, and I got a text from this mutual friend, and he said, "Hey, I heard Charles is there tonight." And I'm like, so because he knows Charles from Phoenix, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" Right? But then I was like, I didn't answer, and I just put my phone down, and I was ready for the game. So after the game, I didn't know what to expect. I knew there was some sort of celebrations going on, and then they played this video, and all of a sudden I'm hearing the crowd go wild, and I'm like, "Oh, this video's not over yet. It's not that great." And then people on the bench were going wild, and Carl, of course, was standing right in my vision, so I couldn't even see because after the game I was sitting, I was tired. And then I kind of lean over, and I think Charles was the first guy I saw walking out. I was like, what? Unbelievable. And I kept looking, and then this other guy came out. I mean, it was an unbelievable, great surprise. And I got to say, the Mavs have been incredible to me in the retirement. Of course, the jersey retirement was amazing. The last game I'll never forget. I mean, it's been one highlight after the next, and now to top it off with the statue outside of the building, which is amazing. So it's been a wild ride.
Did you approve the statue? Have you seen it?
I have seen it now. Yeah. At the beginning, I didn't really want to get too involved, so the Mavs handled most of it, but I want to make sure nothing wrong happened there, and then I go there the day off, and you're like, oh my goodness. I think there's been some examples. I think Ronaldo had one done, and I don't know if you guys seen that on the internet, but his face was all mushed in, and I just want to make sure we're all good on that front. So,
like if I'm going to be immortalized, I want to.
Yeah, at least just check. I don't want any input, but at least I want to.
Just sign off on it.
Sign off.
How big is it? Is it?
It's huge. It is huge.
Like bigger than you?
Yeah, way bigger. It's
Oh.
like 20-something feet. I think. Yeah. This is a huge thing, and it's going to be right there when you first come up the plaza there on the right. So
Oh my
you're
gosh.
gonna see
Right off
it,
Nowitzki Way.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's that
take
like?
a right
Having
on
a
Nowitzki
street
Way, and then
and
the
then
statue
turn right
right
at the
there.
Dirk statue, and then there's Dirk
It's
Sports
a
Bar,
lot. I know,
and then
it's a lot. It's a lot. But
no,
it's been
but you
great.
deserve it. I mean, you
thank
deserve
you.
every bit of it. What was that like hearing about the street?
The street
Nowitzki
was
Way.
unbelievable. Yeah, that came together super last minute. I thought it was incredible. They asked me, "Would you want Dirk Drive or do you want Nowitzki Way?" And I'm like, I have no idea. I mean, I've never had a street before, so. And usually, I think they only name streets after people that have passed away, and so I think they had to change the rule for that to make that
Wow.
happen. So it's been another
We couldn't
amazing
wait.
moment. Yeah,
No
I
one
know.
could wait. We
Another-
must
I
have
know.
street right now.
It was an amazing moment also, just to stand there. And I got a little teary-eyed because I'm standing there. I'm like, this is really happening. Like,
Yeah.
I've done this. I worked so hard, and to be able to get that and get honored like this was super sweet.
Yeah. I mean, the way everything unfolded from the beginning, like Emily talked about, being a kid, coming over here, playing for the same team for so long, winning a title, all the way to now where we're talking about a statue in a street. It is a storybook career. Like that's how I would explain it. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but could it have gone, I guess, any better for you? Like, so many athletes will retire and they have this regret or that regret, or it ended badly with this GM or this teammate, or this, I wish I could have just finished my career with this one team, or, you know, I feel like that's why people are so drawn to you and obsessed with you and want to immortalize you, because it was pretty perfect.
Yeah, I mean, as a competitor, as an athlete, you always want more. You know, I just think there's no way we should have lost the 06 finals.
It still grinds your gears, yeah.
Some other stuff that happened, even off the floor. Some stuff happened that wasn't great. So, yeah, at the end of the day, you can always do better. But I always say that I wouldn't have been the finisher in 11 if I wouldn't have gone through all these brutal times and disappointments, and that pushed me to work even harder and get better and become a better all-around player. So in a way, all these disappointments were good for me, and I needed them to keep pushing and make me better. So, but I wish we would have won one more, but hey, that's the competitor talking. But overall, of course, it was an amazing ride. And of course, the last few years were also tough, where we weren't really good enough to be in the playoffs and really play at a high level. And we were losing a lot. And so that was also a tough time. But to me, I looked at, you know, I signed on for the Mavs and I'm a Mav for life. That means you can't just be here for the good times. You got to also grind through. And at the beginning, we weren't very good. And at the end, we weren't very good. And, you know, we were good in the middle there for 10, 12 years. You know, we won 50 games plus every year. That's not normal either. And so I saw it as just a downturn for this franchise, and I got to help it push through. And then, of course, we drafted Luka, and things started to go uphill again. So, but I'm glad I pushed through those last couple of years and helped the team get through where they wanted to be.
Okay, we're going to get to family life, and we do want to talk a little Luka and some current NBA stuff, but we've got to get in a couple of sponsor reads. A new sponsor to the show, Panther City Lacrosse. We were there last week for their home opener. Super exciting to have that in Fort Worth. It's a really cool, just fun experience for the family. Take in a lacrosse game for a very affordable price. They've got a game coming up on the 17th of December at 7 o'clock before the holiday craziness begins. Tickets start at $25. Get your seats at panthercitylax.com. Again, great venue at Dickies Arena, a great time with the family. Take your kiddos. We went last week and had a blast.
Yep,
and,
we're part of the fam now.
We are part of the Panther City fam. And then also want to tell you, too, we're also a part of the D. Valor Medical Wellness fam, Julie.
Yes, we are. Our friend Melanie Cobb, who was feeling a little overwhelmed with the demands of a full-time career in surgery. So she started her own company talking about skincare and helping other busy moms with their skin, and that's important to us.
It's important.
She will do the Botox, she will do the Dysport, she will do facials, whatever it is that you need, microneedling. We are having fun experimenting with her so we can look like we're not old, tired moms like we are. So check her out, DValorMedicalWellness.com to book. We also have the link in our link tree. If you go check that out, then you will see the landing page that is dedicated specifically to the mom game, and you can get your free consultation with Melanie. She'll tell you what you need.
Okay, Dirk, have you done Botox yet?
I haven't. Can you tell?
No, your lines aren't that deep.
Well, it's okay. It's getting
your
there.
forehead.
I mean, especially here, the power lines.
The power lines.
Yeah, they're coming.
Yeah. So it was funny. Melanie was talking to me.
Does she have someone for that?
She does.
Okay, sweet.
But she was talking about how
what was that website again?
She was talking about how she did Botox on her husband, and that because the power lines go back so far, she's like, I'm losing too much money because it takes too much to
take too much Botox
all the way up there.
That's cold.
Okay, let's talk about family life. How did your beautiful wife Jessica? How did you meet Jessica?
So I met Jess at a foundation, a charity event, actually, during the 2010 All-Star Game here in Dallas.
Okay. I met your sister then.
Yes, my
So
sister was
lovely.
in
Yes.
town. A bunch of people were in town. Actually, so many people wanted to come that I moved out of my house and I gave them my house. Like, it was like 20 people from Germany came. They
Wow.
slept on the floors. They slept with sleeping bags. I mean, it was a circus, and I'm like, well, I can't stay there. I need some rest. So I actually moved into the hotel for these couple days, for a week, and really had a blast with all the Germans to come. And then I got invited. Do you remember Gallo, Amadou Fall? That was our, worked for us for a while. He was our African scout, and then he was doing more in the front office. And he had a charity called Seeds, and it's in Senegal, where he's from, and he does a basketball program there. And so to show some respect to Gallo, Al went by there, and this was like on a Wednesday or Thursday leading up to the All-Star that week. And I just really wanted to pop in for like 10 minutes, say hello, have a drink, and keep it moving with my crew. And then next thing you know, we're there, we're talking. I knew a bunch of people. And I said hi to Jessica's boss at the time, who was Kenny Goss, who was a boyfriend of George Michael, and they had the Goss Michael Foundation here, the art foundation. And so I knew her boss, and I wanted to say hi to Kenny, so I went over there with Kenny, and Jessica was standing there. And so, you know, Kenny introduced us, and the rest is kind of history. We ended up going out with a big crew that night, and went on a date a couple weeks later, and, you know, married basically 2 years later. 2012 married, first kid in 2013, so things moved really fast there. I think I was older, I was ready for family life, and we're both in the same situation, and so it was it was a great match.
Was she into Dirk Nowitzki? Did she know? I mean,
mean-
and is it Nowitzki? Do I say Nowitzki or Nowitzki? I feel like I do it wrong
You go
every
on the
time.
record.
No, you
Because
can
you
say
keep
whatever.
saying Nowitzki.
I know, I say the American way now. I've been here for 24 years.
And so now you defer to the Americans?
Yeah,
no,
so actually,
come on.
yeah, we actually say Nowitzki growing up with the hard,
Hey, and I'm in.
hard W.
Okay, I'm hard on it.
Yeah.
Sounded weird. Sorry.
But yeah, you know, we actually, this is a weird line, but we were on our first date, and she asked me all the questions, and I'm like, did you not Google me before you went on this date? So she still tells this story to this day. Obviously, I was joking. But yeah, she was big into tennis, and her brothers, she has twin brothers, they play soccer. I don't think she was a huge NBA fan, basketball fan, but of course she supported me during my career. But I think since I retired, if she has watched one basketball game or two, that's a lot. So she's not like a hard basketball fan, but yeah, of course she supported me hard the last 10 years.
But was she like, she doesn't, and I've met her like one or two times, but it doesn't seem like she's the kind that would be like, it's Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. Like, which is probably, I would think, good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I'm not sure.
I mean, or was she into the fact that you were this big time superstar?
I have no idea. It just clicked. You know,
Yeah.
it clicked on the first night, and yeah, so we never looked back really from there. So I'm not really sure what she thought,
Yeah.
or if she was fired up, but
She
it ended
was
up
fired up.
it ended up working good. So we're happy. We're happy.
So were you were you super into her from the beginning?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right away. Like I said, we exchanged numbers that night, and then went on a date a few weeks later. We were, I forgot where our first, maybe Hibiscus. Do you remember that
Yeah,
spot over in
absolutely.
Knox
Yeah.
Henderson? I think that was our first date night, and then, yeah, went strong ever since. I mean, she kind of moved in just a few months later, and we got engaged 2012 with Valentine's Day, and married that summer. So things just went super fast, and I was just yeah, that was it. It was super quick.
How are you as a husband?
I mean, I try to be supportive. I try to help out at home now that I have more time, or even actually when I played, even when I come home from a road game, I try to get up in the mornings, help with the kids, take the kids to school, just you know, try to be supportive. But of course, she runs the household there, and she runs sort of my life as well. And I just you know, run around the house, but she definitely runs the house.
Okay, tell us about kids. How many kids, ages?
Yeah, where are we at?
What's Dad Dirk like?
It's super fun. Now I feel like these are the best ages. Malika is 9, Max is 7, and Morris just turned 6 last week or 2 weeks ago. You know, men have a hard time when the kids are really small and they can't say anything. They just lay there, and you have to feed them and change them every 2 seconds. That is hard. But now, I mean, it's a great time. You know, boys love sports. So we play tennis. We play soccer in the yard, play hoops. I mean, we travel a lot with them now, and they travel so much easier. And so it's been a great journey, but I'm really enjoying my time now. And everybody says enjoy it now before they're teenagers. So trying to spend as much time as I can with them. And like I said, we go on a lot of travels and show them the world. My goal was always to show them all these different cultures and expose them to all these different things. Because, you know, Jess is half Swedish, half Kenyan. I'm German, so we have roots all over the world. And we travel so much and want to see our families and introduce them to so much stuff. So, and they're so receptive now and just soaking it all in. So it's been a fun journey, but I can't believe, I mean, Malika's already 9.5. It's crazy how time flies. So. But I'm having a good time. I'm loving the journey.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that how big of a factor was that in deciding when to hang him up and when to retire? I'm married to a hockey coach for the Stars. I mean, he's in year 14 right now, and we're all kind of like, all right, like we'd love to have you around a little more, you know. And he knows it, and he's just like you. He'll wake up early and do what he can with the kids and try to get it in where he can. But it's hard. It's hard on the family, and especially when the kids are little.
And the coaches' hours are even crazier than the players. I mean, they're always at the gym and film and all sorts of stuff. So. Yeah, it's a grind. You just you do your best at home, and but like I said, now I have so much more time, and every morning I get up with them, and we have breakfast together. We try to have dinners together, and obviously that's a great thing about being retired. I have all the time in the world now, and I do travel some, like I mentioned. I still every now and then I look forward to like a little trip, go to Germany.
You'll
see
go by
my
yourself.
Folks. Yeah, sometimes.
Get some alone time.
Go to Switzerland. I'm on a board of this International Basketball Federation, so I go to Switzerland every couple of weeks. So every now and then it's actually nice to get a little bit of alone time, but I really enjoy being home and spending time with the kids.
Are you still driving a minivan? Didn't you have a minivan that got stuck in the mud and
yeah,
somebody came in?
I had to call D. Will. This was actually in the middle of the pandemic, and we had bought a lot at the time, and we were thinking about maybe building a house. So I drove by the lot, and there was this little alleyway right by our lot. It was only a few minutes from our house. It's not like I was out somewhere in the boondocks. So next thing you know, I drove down this alleyway, and it had rained that morning, and on this alleyway is all these bumps. So I drove in a little too far, and next thing you know, I couldn't get out. The kids are in the car, Jess is in the car, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing now? So Jess just said, I'm out, because it was close to her house. So she took the kids and walked home. I'm like, oh, God, I'm stuck. Well, what do I do now? So I called up D-Will. I remember he had a big truck. And sure enough, he was home, and he came by, and then he could not believe what he saw. I mean, he blasted me on social media, of course. And everybody got a good laugh out of it.
Because it was a minivan, right?
I still have that.
You do?
The kids drive. We drive the kids to tennis and track and field and soccer. And I mean,
you have to have like a specially made minivan to fit your big ass?
Yeah, we have a, I mean, the inside is sort of a little bit redone, but no, it's okay. I can drive a normal car.
You can drive a normal car.
Yeah, I can drive
But you are so tall.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't drive it for 4 hours straight, but,
right.
It's a tennis and soccer and...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Julie's embarrassed for me.
I am. Yeah. I'm embarrassed. Sorry about my friend. You have to have a
He's
special
known me for a long
big
time.
ass.
Yeah.
He's known
too
me
long,
for a long
too
time.
long.
Too long, I know. What are you like as a sports dad? Like, are you super involved? Do you freak out on the sidelines?
I try to be pretty chill. They're still really young, so it's not like I need to run in there and have input. I mean, they play for fun now, and that's what I want to keep it for now. Even though, of course, they're pretty talented, all of them in tennis as well. And we've people are saying you got to go all in more. They got to practice every day. But I kind of want to pull it back. I don't want them to really burn out on anything too soon. So, man, we're just having fun with them, and they're enjoying sports, and I want them to have that passion for sports. So whatever really they decide, I support. I think that was the same with my parents. They let me try everything, and then I obviously ended up with basketball. At the time, wasn't the most popular decision when I was about 13, but they supported me. They drove me every weekend, so we handle it the same way. We just want to have them find what they love, and then support them and see where they can take it.
So your oldest was, 6.5, 6 when you retired. Do they understand what all went down with Dad before they were born and when they were young?
Yeah, a little bit more now. They say, "Oh, Papa used to play a little basketball."
A little basketball.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah,
I don't
just
think
a little basketball.
because the last couple of years they saw me, I was already so slow, and now with the ankle I could barely move. So basically, they just think I'm the slowest athlete that ever played, and so sometimes I need to show my middle one. He's like, "Hey, look at this YouTube clip," and it's all grainy. I mean, it's not great coverage and footage. But they understand a little bit now, or when we travel and people come up to me and take a photo, they make fun of that a little bit. "Hey, Papa, let's take a photo. Let's take a photo for Instagram." Malika kept saying. So, yeah, I mean, they understand a little bit now that Papa used to do something. And then I actually told him a few weeks ago about Christmas Day and the statue, and my daughter was super embarrassed. She's in that stage where everything Papa does is embarrassing. When I take her to school, it's embarrassing. Aww. When I act like a clown somewhere, it's embarrassing. And so she's like, "Oh, I don't want to go to that. That's going to be embarrassing. Everybody's going to talk about you and look at us. It's going to be embarrassing." So that'll be a tough day for her, but she'll enjoy it eventually.
Are you able to move about the city, without
Probably
too
not.
much attention?
Yeah, it's going okay. I mean, yeah, it's not like I wouldn't walk through the mall now in Christmas traffic. I wouldn't do that, but no, I'm having fun, and people obviously have seen me around, and then people are respectful, and of course with my kids at times that's a bit much, but I don't mind people saying hi and telling me, of course, that they respect what I've done for the city, which obviously means a lot to me. So it's been great interactions, and even in retirement for sure.
One of the reasons people love you so much is because you are so kind and you're so nice, and you do take the time to stop and say hi and give people maybe more than they even thought. When somebody's wanting to say hi to you or take a picture. Does that stress you out at all? Like, is it hard to always maybe feel that pressure of wanting to maintain that persona when there's so many people that want something from you, including us? I mean, thank you so much for doing this. I know there's people probably all the time that want a little something out of you, and that's got to be something that is hard to navigate.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm the guy that wants to please everybody and wants to have a good time with everybody. It's just impossible. You can't always do everything, and you learn that pretty early, though. That it's just you can't make time for everybody. It just doesn't work. And there were times where I had to say, "Hey, listen, it's just not going to work right now. Maybe we'll try it again later." And I guess that's just part of life. You can't please everybody. But we've had so many great interactions. I mean, even the summer before last, we were just in the middle of Italy, somewhere in a small town, and this younger guy comes up to me, and his older guy, he explained English, couldn't speak English, but he was crying. Uh-huh. He was like some 50, 60-year-old man, and I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, he's such a big fan, and he's so emotional that you're here in Italy." And I'm like, and my kids obviously see that, and I mean it's emotional that you have impacted so many people across the globe that you have no idea about. So it's been amazing interactions with people from all over the world.
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool, Dirk. Okay, we've got a few more subjects to tackle, and then we'll get you out of here. I know you've got
It's making me all emotional on here. So.
Aw,
it's hard not to.
Okay, so we've got a couple sponsors to talk about: Bottle Rover and Noble Vines, which go hand in hand. Julie Dobbs, and I know you're a wine drinker. Dirk?
They do. Yep. If you are looking for the perfect vino to drink over the holidays, that is Noble Vines. And if you don't want to get off your couch to go to the store to get it, that's where you look to Bottle Rover, our friends at Bottle Rover. It's just an app that you put on your phone and you do a little search. You say, I'm feeling like tequila. And then all the tequila that is near you will pop up. You say, I want that one, and it'll be at your door within an hour or two. It makes it very easy. And we're so thankful for their partnership here on the Mom Game. Get that app if you don't have it yet. It is free delivery with a $50 order, which we all know is very easy to hit $50 when you're buying booze.
Yeah, I just ordered my Noble Vines last week. I ordered Noble Vines, and then I ordered some random liqueur 43 to make some. I don't know. My girlfriend was like, we've got to make these drinks, and this is what we need. And so I was like, I don't want to go to the liquor store, so I'm going to buy some Noble Vines wine and whatever this liqueur is. So, yeah, Bottle Rover's the best. Noble Vines, the Cabernet is my favorite. Also love the Sauvignon Blanc. The Cabernet is the 337. It's amazing. Perfect for the holidays. Noble Vines does so much good work in the community. They support No Kid Hungry. They support the Do It for Dirt Foundation. We are super, super grateful for Dave Duncan and all our friends at Noble Vines. So get your Noble Vines this holiday season. Mm-hmm. And finally, we've got Early Bird. Are you into the CBD game at all? CBD?
No, really.
It's like, well, so this is like CBD with a little something extra, a little THC in it.
Hello.
Just when you need to relax.
Hello. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but I can be a little high strung at times. And so it's my mind it has a hard time shutting off when I need it to shut off and I need to go to sleep and chill the F out. And so Early Bird gummies have kind of changed my life. Last night I was in one of those spaces and I popped a couple gummies and laid on the couch, and it was pretty amazing.
Okay.
Yep.
They are legal.
Sweet.
Don't get all uncomfortable. Perfectly. We only endorse legal products here on the Mom Game, but Early Bird CBD is where it's at if you need to chill the F out like I do a lot of times. Check them out at earlybirdcbd.com/TMG to get 20% off your first order. Give them a try. They are amazing. Perfect stocking stuffer. Give them a try, Early Bird CBD. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk some current day NBA. Let's talk some Luka. How important was it for you to be there in that transitional year, that first year for Luka, and how effing good is he?
Unbelievable, right? I mean, we didn't really know how good he was going to be when we first drafted him, I think. We knew he was EuroLeague MVP and all these things, but I mean, he's gotten better from year to year. I mean, this kid has no holes on his offensive game, whether the shot, the playmaking, the passing, the post-up, the driving. I mean, it's just this kid is from another planet. So it's been so much to watch, so much fun to watch him improve from year to year. And I was glad I was there for his first year. You know, we didn't really interact that much. Obviously, it was hurt for the first 30 games. I didn't travel for a while, but it was still awesome for me to play with him for a year and help him if I can for a little bit. But he was so wise already at a young age, and the way he read the game was already at another level. So I didn't really do a lot for him, I guess, but he knows that I'm his number one supporter, and I'm always there for him if he needs me. And this kid's it's been fun to watch.
Did it help you when you did leave the team, which we know we've talked about was so hard for you to do? Did it help you knowing that they were in pretty good hands?
Yeah, I mean, he basically took over my last year already, the rookie year that he had, and the flashes that he showed in some of those games. I knew this kid's going to be special for a long, long time. And, you know, after those few tough years we had there at the end of my career, I knew that he can carry the load and hopefully bring us back one day to the promised land. And, you know, to make it last year on the top four was an amazing ride. And I went to almost all the playoffs games. So it's just super special to watch this kid. And, I can't wait to watch him for what we got next 5 years. So
hopefully for a long time.
Yeah. So what's y'all's relationship like, you know, now?
I mean, we go out every now and then. We go to dinners, or I just saw him actually the other day. He came by the house and just we hung out a little bit. So I mean, we have he's a friend of mine, and I try to if there's anything ever he can ask, we talk basketball or he has a question, he knows that I'm always there for him, and I'm a phone call away. Obviously, he knows that we travel a lot and we're out of town a lot, but when I'm here, obviously I'm only one phone call away, and I'm happy to help him with anything. So he's been, but like I said, he's so wise beyond his years. He plays. He's only 23, but he reads the game like he's in his early 30s. That's how good he is. That's how high his basketball IQ is. So. I mean, I'm not even sure there's much I can tell him. He reads the game much better than I ever did. You know, obviously he's a point guard and he sees different stuff that I never seen as a big guy. You know, I just wanted to put the ball in the hole. This guy actually has to worry about all these other 4 guys. He's got to get involved and run plays. I never worried about that. You know, I just wanted to score all the time. So this kid is just on another level.
How involved are you with the Mavericks on a consultant type basis, and do you want more involvement? Are you in the sweet spot right now, like you said, with the travel with your family?
Yeah, I think the Mavs want me involved a little more, so that's why you guys probably saw me on social media. I was almost there at every practice in training camp. They wanted a little bit of my input. Talk to Jay Kidd every now and then. Talk to the management. So I was around a little more. Now the season started, we've done some traveling the last few weeks, so I haven't been around as much as I wanted to. But for me, it's a sweet spot now, I got to say. I would not want to be there all day long, every day, start traveling again with the team, sit on the road, don't really have anything to do. So for me, this is great. I can watch the games. I can go to practice when I'm here. I can give them my input. I can tell them what I see. Sometimes they send me little clips on defense or offensive clips. I give my input. So it's great. I have freedom. I'm my own boss. I don't have to report to anybody. So I'm sure that's in my future that I'm around even more or even take a full-time position. But for now, I enjoy my freedom too much while the kids are still so young. And so for me right now, this works perfectly.
And you were in on the head coaching selection committee, right? Like the news came out that there was a group of the Mind Trust, the people that were all kind of helping to make this huge decision. What is it about Jason Kidd, I guess, that you guys thought this was the man for the job, and why is he a good fit with Luka?
So, yeah, I got on board. Basically, I had no plans on really coming on board anytime soon. And then Mark called me. I'll never forget, I was in the summer. I was in Sweden, and we were traveling. And he called me. He's like, I'd love to have you on board. And, you know, we're making some changes. And so I said, listen, Mark, you've been so great to me and so loyal. If you need me, of course I'm there. So that summer was actually the first time I got involved a little more. And there was a time where we were on Zoom calls almost every night. You know, that's when GM changed, coaching changed. So there was a lot happening there within a few weeks. And that was cool to be a part of. I mean, usually as a player, you don't really see that side of things. So for me to kind of have that look behind the scenes, how are decisions made, how are the interview process, and so that was super cool to be a part of. And for Jay Kidd, you know, obviously I played with him my last couple of years. You can already tell that he's got the mind to be a coach. He's got the vision for it. He's got the IQ for it, and so. So we interviewed him in a formal process. And,
it was fun for you.
It was fun.
I mean,
but I try to actually keep it super professional. Of course, at the beginning we kind of, you know, shooting stuff a little bit from the hip, and then once we started, and I even was like, hey, so listen, your last stop here. This was feedback. What do you think now? What have you learned? And so it was a great interview. It was a great process, and so then we ended up hiring him, and he's been great. He's been great for the team, but he's also been great for Luka. I think Luka really respects him and likes him. They bond each other. They play the same position. So Jay Kidd has some great input there for him and tries to make the game easier for him. And so I think just for that, it was a great hire.
You still stay in touch with Nelly and Donnie?
Not as much. You know, really something we can't get into too much. What's been happening? They were supposed to come to my jersey retirement, and then they ended up not coming. So I'm not really sure what the latest is there. I don't really want to get involved in that anyways. That's something between Mark and them. So we'll just have to wait and see what the outcome is there.
A couple of things I wanted to ask you about. So Steph Curry, I know you're not huge on social media, but Steph Curry came out, was it today?
Yeah.
Today, Steph
see that.
named
Some people send that to me.
his
Yeah,
all-time starting five. I mean, what is it like to be in this company? Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson, Steph Curry. Like, hey.
Not bad, not bad. And
to get it from a play, like, it's one thing for like me to be like, oh, Dirk's so great.
Like, you're in my top five, Dirk. Yeah.
It's another thing for like Steph Curry to
that was
say that.
wild. Some people had sent me immediately when that came out, and of course that's a proud moment, right? That you're respected for what you try to do for your organization for such a long time. So I thought that was super cool, but also I did not quite understand. I mean, he could have picked anybody. So, but it's cool. It's definitely very nice of him. So I'm very appreciative.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, who do you love to watch these days in the NBA?
Well, I used to be such an NBA nut. Like I used to sit at home and watch games all the time, even on my day off. I would have my dinner on the couch or whatever and just pop on any random game. And so when I retired, I wanted to take a little break.
Yeah.
So there was a phase for the good first year where I didn't watch anything really. I've gotten back into it a little more, and of course when the Mavs are on and I'm home, I'm definitely watching that. But it's just, some of the other games, I just don't have that interest like I had back in the days when, you compete against these guys all the time, every night. You do research, you watch you look at the film and all that in the games. And
it was work.
I just don't have that. I don't have that drive anymore right now. Yeah. Maybe eventually they'll come back. But the Mavericks, I'll watch all the time. But I'll go to the Mavs game, and the other team would sub somebody in. I was like, who is that? I've never seen him before. So it's that I'm in that phase now where I watch the Mavs almost every night. But some of the other teams, I just don't have enough time or really enjoy enough to keep up.
And that's
with,
probably kind of refreshing to just be able to take a step back and not watch basketball for a while. Focus on your family, relax.
I needed it. And we have other interests now. Like I said, we do so much now with the kids, and we travel so much that it works out. It works out great.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we let you go, I just wanted to document, like, of course you have, when I have slid into your DMs 800 times, yo, and Dirk, and stalking you, don't forget about the mom game. But I just wanted to document like how long and how real this you trying to get you in here was. So we mentioned it, like I said, on our first show. And then after 3 months of being on the air or having a Twitter account, you actually followed us. Did you do that, or did your social media person?
No, I don't have a social media person.
Okay. Oh, you did it. Okay. So I did say thank you. Yeah, and then I tweeted on March 24th of 2020, over under on how long it will take Swish 41 to follow this account, which you ended up doing. The choices were never and the end of time. But you came through, like you said.
He's the best.
And then the final was prepping for that Swish 41 interview on the Mom Game Pod someday. And I was reading.
Yeah, I didn't see that since I got off Twitter a few days ago.
Yeah, this was a while back. But I have started reading this book.
You're on page 50, I see.
I'm on page 57 because I haven't been on vacation in a while. I will say it's a fascinating read. I can't... You let this guy in. Like, you let him in.
Well, he was in.
How did this happen? So, because like the shit he's talking about, I'm like, wow. Like, he's riding in the car with you to your final games and stuff. I'm like,
he was at the house numerous of times. So it started. He had to write. He's a really good writer. He's an author. He's not a sports writer, but has a passion for basketball. He used to play growing up. And so he wrote actually an article for me for some magazine, like a big-time magazine in Germany, and then he already spent a few days here. We got along great, but then he went his ways again. He wrote another book. And then I was practicing in Germany one time, and Holger said, hey, Thomas is here and wants to talk to you, wants to show you this project that he wants to do. And I'm like, what is that? I've already done a book way back with another German guy, and I was like, I wasn't really that fired up at the beginning, but I told Thomas, I like you. You're super smart, and you're a good writer, and also we get along great, so I'll try it. This was after the championship, so this was like I've figured I'm gonna play a couple more years, and then he can capture my last few years in the league. Well, then I signed another deal, and then he's like, okay, now you're done. Then I signed another 2-year deal, and so he ended up having to follow me for almost 8 years because I was like, you're not gonna finish the book now, and my career's not done yet, right? So it ended up being a long project for him. And at the end, he was like part of my crew. In the summer, I'm traveling at a photo shoot somewhere. Thomas dragged along, or we have a commercial shoot somewhere outside of Germany somewhere. He would drag along. So he was just part of my entourage almost. And he's a fun guy, and ended up writing, I think, a really interesting book. And he did a good job, and I really enjoyed his company. He's super smart.
Yeah, it seems, I know I'm only 57 pages in, but it does seem he's telling so much of the backstory, and then he's also giving his backstory too to tell kind of how that's intertwined.
In the German book, sorry, was that your foot? In the German book, it's even longer. His story gives a complete background on how he even started basketball. This one is more cut to the American market. I'm like, nobody wants to read your backstory in the U.S., right? So we cut some of this stuff out for the U.S. market, and I think this is actually the even better book in English. And yeah, he did a good job. He did a good job of summarizing everything. And what's good about him, he's not a sports writer. Like I said, he's a real author. So some of the situations he explains so in such detail that you actually think you're there if you're a reader. So he's done a good job. And the most emotional part was, to me, right at the start. Now, maybe it's because of the last game and the retirement and everything was so close. But when I read the German version, this was only a few years after I retired. I was starting crying on a plane, and just putting me back in that situation and for my last home game. So that was, to me, that was the most emotional part.
Julie, anything else? Before we let you go.
One thing we ask people a lot, we asked, I think, Mike Madonna this, Ian Kinsler. We're both moms. We have kids. You're a dad. Is there anything that you would give as far as a piece of advice to somebody that's starting out playing sports? If it's kids, even parents, just something that maybe like helped you stay on the right path along the way and achieve your goals. What would you tell somebody that's just starting out as an athlete, maybe to just kind of believe in throughout their life, I guess, if that makes sense?
No. you meant with kids, or you meant from
what would you tell? Like, what would you tell my 11-year-old son who wants to be like he wants to be a professional baseball player? I'm not sure that's going to happen, but like,
just how do you believe and not get discouraged, something like that.
Well, I think the first thing is you gotta love it. I think that's what I always say. If you're just about it, then go find something else, because I know the grind that I've done for 20-some years and get up in the middle of the night and work out. You only do that if you really love it, what you do. So I think that would be first. If you got to find something that you're really passionate about, and you would, eat, breathe, and sleep the sport. I think that's the first thing. And then, of course, there's some setbacks, there's some tough times you got to get through, and you got to just work through it. I think that's also part of learnings for life from sports. It doesn't always go great. When there's some setbacks, you just have to work through it and fight through it and lean on your loved ones and support system. And at the end of the day, though, it's about working hard. I mean, I've seen so many kids that were way more talented than I was at 13, 14, and then, they didn't work hard, or they were too good too soon, and then, teenage years, they had other interests all of a sudden came along, and girls and God knows what. I mean, you do have to work hard. You have to work hard and show discipline, and so it's not easy. So to me, it's a whole package. It's talent, it's work ethic, it's a little luck at times. You got to meet the right guys or be at the right spot at the right time. So, there's a lot of influences that come for an athlete, and hopefully it works out for him.
Bad question, really good answer. Thank you. Thank you.
I just didn't quite understand.
There was a lot there.
Yeah.
I know, because I was
okay.
like thinking, kids' perspective and parents' perspective, but what you said was exactly what I needed to hear. So thank
good.
you. Yeah.
Okay, Dirk, we've kept you for over an hour. I'm so glad I beat you
A
into
mom
submission,
game. A
into
mom
coming in
game.
here.
It was fun.
Podcasts aren't so bad.
No, not bad at all. Not bad.
We
Doing it.
really appreciate it.
I
We know you're
know.
probably
Yes.
pulled in a million different directions, and
It wasn't bad.
I was not
this is a
giving up.
benchmark moment for us.
I was not giving up.
No,
I was
I'm
going
glad,
to wear your
I'm glad
ass
we
out.
got this done. Because in the new year, actually, we are traveling a bunch again.
Yeah.
In January, we're going to be on the move for a couple of weeks. And so glad we got the mom game out of the way.
I'm glad
did
we got
it.
it in. And
We
thanks
did
to
it.
Scooter. Scooter helped.
Yes, Scooter is
helped.
Scooter still talks to me all the time.
Yeah.
He's like the other day, he's like, man, I'm dealing with TNT and ESPN. We have 3 national TV games, and I'm going to talk mom game with you every other day. So
That's so
Because I've
funny.
been wearing Scott out too.
Scott was in our wedding.
I was like, yeah, we'll get it over with, and then you can focus again on TNT
Exactly.
and ESPN.
Well,
But
I'm glad that
mom,
Scott-
mom game first.
There we
Mom
go.
game
There we
first.
go. Well,
That's
Dirk,
so
thanks so
funny.
much for being with us.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the big ass statue that's going in front of the AAC.
that was sweet.
Super stoked for you. Really excited. I can't wait to go back on vacation in January and read 50
Yeah,
more
slide
pages.
into my
of
DMs when you read a little more.
Okay,
yeah.
I will. Okay, as you know, as an avid watcher of the mom game, the way we end every show is you look at your camera. It's really cheesy, but this is what we do. Throw up your peace sign and you say mom game. Okay? 1, 2, 3.
Mom game out. Oh, one more time.
Okay. 1,
Okay.
2, 3.
Mom game out.